first of all, for those who don't know about Livestation, give us a quick overview of what you do.
Okay, so Livestation is, very simply put, it's an aggregator of live television news. So we've been around for 3 years. We have partnerships with dozens of news broadcasters. And what we do is very simple. We bring all those live channels together in one place across many devices. And then we build an audience around that. So our job is really to create a very compelling consumer experience, while at the same time helping our broadcasters to build a bigger exposure and more distribution.
Cool. So one thing, what these guys do, then they sort of take the satellite feed, and then there's an advertising share or subscription share, depending on the scenario, that's shared with these news networks like Al Jazeera and Bloomberg and others. You have some news now about what's going on with your subscription offering in the United States with some major news providers. Could you tell us about that?
Sure. Let's take one step back, and our audience is an interesting mix. So the way we look at it is that we have, on the one side, we have a diaspora audience. At the other side, we have news junkies. And what we have found is that many of our channels are available for free on Livestation, and we monetize that through advertising, which we then share with the broadcasters. But we also have channels that see a little bit of channel conflict with cable distribution. So they tread a little bit more carefully, and they still want to be on Livestation, but behind a paywall, which we can facilitate. And again, that money we share with the broadcasters. Now, we've seen a shift in there's an increasing willingness of live news channels to distribute through the internet, to live stream over the top, which creates a potential channel conflict with cable distribution. But these things are shifting. So, as of today, Livestation has launched a few big brands over the top exclusively in the United States. Examples are Sky News, Euronews, and the BBC World, which weren't available before on a streaming basis. So the way we have done that is make those channels available. You can pay for it by card, and then we share that revenue. And that is to tap into the diaspora audience, people that want to have their channel from home. But at the same time, we see an increasing demand of news junkies that want to have a bundle of great quality news channels in one package. So we've also launched today a bundle of channels that you can buy. So it's a package. So in a way, we've become an online cable distribution company. This is exactly what the cable company has been doing for decades. And it's interesting to see that with the advance of home broadband and connected TVs, that online live streaming providers or aggregators like Livestation are seen as really a viable alternative or complementary option to traditional cable distribution.
Now, you guys are also doing something that's fairly significant, which is actually time-shifting linear programming.
Yeah.
Which I think has happened, I believe, in sports, and but as far as I know, and maybe Peter or the others in our audience can comment on this, whether there's been live shifting of live programming. So tell us what you're doing with Al Jazeera and that implementation that's starting now.
Yeah. Okay. So again, to take a step back, the way we look at the video landscape is that you have video on demand on the one side, clips. Mostly YouTube, that's the 800-pound gorilla. Then you have live content. Now, both are great, but very different. YouTube clips are great because they're discoverable. You have metadata. Live is great because it's real time. The clips on YouTube are typically 6 to 8 hours old, right? Now, what we found is that there's an opportunity in the middle. News typically wants to be fresh, but live news, you can't share live news. We've done some integrations with Facebook, and if you're watching, say, CNN on Livestation, your friends will find out and they can join you. But it's not the same as sharing a clip on a traditional video on demand clip. So what we've come up with and launched in partnership with Al Jazeera, and we hope to roll that out over many broadcasters, is we call it live clip and share. So in essence, we enable our viewers to take a clip from a live broadcast and then share that on social networks. Right? So what we're doing there is we're saying, okay, we know that when you watch something really interesting, you want to share it, but you can't push out a live stream to Facebook because your friends might check in an hour later, so that doesn't work. So we're taking a clip from a live stream, which is near real life VOD. We're tagging that by analyzing the clip, and then we're pushing that out to social networks, Facebook, Twitter, driving social traffic around those clips, bringing it back to our channels, which helps our partners. While at the same time working with social tools like Storyfy and Storyful, who now have almost real-time clips that they can embed in their product. Right? So our job again is to make Livestation into a very compelling consumer experience, and our viewers have always asked for sharing options, and we believe this is the way that live sharing will go forward.
Well, it's a great way to create content, distinct clips, and not have to sort of wait and have them go into the edit room and so forth. And I suppose for you guys, from a business standpoint, you can actually serve up ads into each of those clips, as opposed to right now you just start the stream and then there's a pre-roll. Now there's more opportunities, I suppose, for you and for your publishers. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, that's one side of it. Ultimately, we're in the business of making money, but our heritage is also to make news more widely available, and to be very innovative around that. We believe that ultimately, if you create the better product, your audience will come, and then you can monetize that. But our vision for this is to let our audience help drive the news agenda by taking the clips that they find interesting, not necessarily an editor in the newsroom, and then to drive social traffic around that. Now, what we haven't talked about is that stream of near real-time clips which will find their way on the internet. At the same time, we will republish those clips on Livestation, because we're also a destination website. And by running metadata on clips as well as live, which we are doing already in the background, we can create living stories from those clips around the latest news headlines, which never has been done before.
How does the metadata get created?
So we look at OCR, optical character recognition, right? The titles on the screen. We look at the audio feed, teletext feed, and then we put that through a big black box of clever algorithms, and we would derive keywords from that.
Cool. And one thing that I was wondering, we talked a little bit about bandwidth costs. How do you manage that to stream all this live stuff? And how are costs for streaming going? And is that an issue for you, or?
Well, costs are always too high, right?
Yeah.
We work with Akamai. That's our main CDN. We also have other ways of getting our content out there, which are even more cost effective. But look, we've seen the cost of CDNs go down dramatically over the last 2-3 years, while at the same time traffic is building, and ad networks are doing a much better job at getting a decent revenue out of it. So it's a problem that's going away. It's still an issue, but longer term we don't see that as a big problem.
And just one last question: these shareable videos that are highlight clips, this time-shifted clips, are there on your player that's sort of a distinct player that people can embed, or do they drive back to the Livestation homepage? What happens when you click on these clips?
Right. So it depends on the Twitter and Facebook have their own video platforms. We give them a feed of these clips. They play it. At the end of the clip, we recommend people to, if they want to see the live stream related to that clip, that takes them back to Livestation. We also have other partnerships where we do host the player. It's the Livestation player with the clip in it, so it's a completely embeddable solution. And there you can embed advertising as well. So it's really about who wants to monetize this content, and then you work backwards. But we can support both.